Welcome back. Caring for your loved ones is one of the most important things you will ever do. And if you have to put their lives in someone else's hands, you want to make sure you have the right person. Kurt Kazanowski is author of The 7 Pillars of Growth for Hospice and Home Care, and he's here to talk with us about what you need to know when hiring a home health care worker. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's
How
good
are
to
you?
have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, we're glad to have you, and this is such an important topic. And you mentioned that after the holidays, when adult kids have been home to visit their parents, the declines, they're starting to call and say, oh my goodness, we need to do something.
The last couple of weeks we've been barraged with phone calls because kids are coming home and they're seeing their loved ones declining. As we indicated, it's not just incremental, it's a large. So they're calling us to look at getting a caregiver, and selecting the right caregiver is what we're here to talk about, because there are so many horror stories out there about people that have hired caregivers that have not gone through the proper steps to assure quality and safety, and they turn out terribly, which is unfortunate.
It often happens at a time of crisis.
Yes.
When you notice that you need it all of a sudden.
Yes.
And you feel not in the driver's seat,
Yes.
like that you're the desperate one looking for help. So it's important to know some of these tips you've got for us.
Yes.
First of all, you say vet potential workers that may be entering their home.
Very much so. I mean, is doing a criminal background check. Well, first of all, you can hire somebody from Craigslist, or you can go to an agency like Home Watch Caregivers, which is the agency I own, and from you go to Craigslist, you don't know what you're getting. At a personal care company, they'll do criminal background checks not only when they hire the caregiver, but every 6 months, because things change.
Sure.
And also looking at their DMV record relative to any DUIs, etc., which gives you an idea of the characteristics of that caregiver. So that's the first most important thing.
Okay, next. Okay, criminal background check even goes beyond just what's their driving record.
Yes, we do a national criminal background checks, which is important. So it's important people ask that of whoever they're hiring to come in, and to make sure that they can document that.
You mentioned something called a quality assurance check.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, we have a nurse in our agency that goes out spontaneously to check on how our caregivers are doing in the home.
Oh, nice.
So they pop in unannounced and do a quality assurance check to make sure things are going well. The care plan that was written for the family is being executed, and it builds quality. It keeps everybody on their toes.
I suspect that before a caregiver even comes in the home, you talk about a care plan.
Yes.
You're in there and you're meeting with the family and getting to know what the needs are.
Yes, exactly.
And creating a plan. So then they're checking on that.
Yep.
You say a home care agency you hire has to meet and speak with you on a regular basis. So you say it's going to be unannounced.
Yep. Oh, the quality assurance nurse will be unannounced and check on what's going on with the caregiver.
Yes.
Myself, I call my clients and families on a regular basis just to communicate with them, especially the ones that are out of state. You would not believe how many children live in Florida, California, but have a loved one still here in Michigan that want somebody to watch over their parents. So, and I've been there, and we talked earlier, you've been there.
Yes.
And it's nice to have somebody just proactively call you and say, here's what's going on with your mom, I stopped over, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
You also recommend that you meet in advance with the specific caregiver. And now one of the things I found is that they often change all the time.
Well, yes.
And that's really hard.
The old switch and bait, bait and switch, which is not good. You want to be able to interview your caregiver. So if we were having somebody for your mother, you want to have somebody come in and you would sit down and chat with them.
Yes.
And a lot of times we'll have maybe 1 or 2 caregivers because they need time off.
Yes.
So you bring both caregivers in, and you have the family interview them. And if there's going to be a change, you have the family interview them. And that's important.
And then the family members still have to be #1 advocate and still very involved. You're not writing off the care of your loved one.
Correct, yes.
It's a partnership.
Yeah, and we encourage. That's the reason I personally reach out to families and loved ones, is to keep them engaged so they can feel they're part of that care, especially if they're further away.
If you, what's your recourse? If you get into a situation where, things turn up missing in the home, you're really placing a lot of trust in a person or an agency. What do you do if things go off the rails?
Well, first of all, an agency would be bonded and insured, so if anything should disappear, that's covered that way. But if you have any inkling that something is not right, they need to call. But what happens a lot of times is you'll have a senior that's by them, they don't want to tell on the caregiver, they feel obligated to some extent. That's how come that quality assurance check is so important. It's so important,
All right, well, it is important to make the right choices and to build a relationship, I think, too, with the agency and the caregiver. You can find more information on this topic on the Take 5 homepage. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And advocating for all our parents,
yes.
right?
Yes.
All right, coming up next, tips and tools to help keep the cold air out of your home. Taking care of those drafts next.